You promised forever but left me in seconds. Confessional prose poem. I remember the exact moment you said forever, not vaguely, not like a fading dream. I remember the way your voice slowed down, how your eyes held mine like they were afraid to let go, how your fingers traced invisible promises on my skin. You didn't just say the word, you placed it inside me. Forever. It sounded soft, safe, certain, uh, like a home I had been searching for my entire life. And I believed you, not because I was naive, but because you made it impossible not to. You didn't rush it. You built it slowly, carefully, like someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Every message, every late night call, every I miss you was another brick in the forever you were building for us. And I moved in without hesitation. I started to see my life in your shadow. Every plan I made had your name hidden inside it. Every dream I dreamed had your face somewhere in the background. I didn't just love you, I included you in everything. I stopped imagining a future alone because you told me I wouldn't have to be alone anymore. You said, I'm not going anywhere, and I believe that too. But here's the thing about promises, they don't break loudly, they don't shatter like glass in front of your eyes. They dissolve quietly, slowly, invisibly, until one day you wake up and realize there's nothing left to hold on to. You didn't leave with a warning. There was no dramatic ending, no final goodbye that I could prepare my heart for. You just changed. Your messages got shorter, your replies got colder, your presence started to feel like absence. And I noticed, of course, I noticed, but I kept telling myself, maybe they're tired, maybe something's wrong, maybe tomorrow will feel like before. I kept giving you the benefit of every doubt, because that's what you do when you're in love with someone who promised forever. But forever doesn't feel like distance. Forever doesn't feel like silence. Forever doesn't feel like begging for attention. From someone who once couldn't get enough of you, I remember the day it ended. Not because you said it's over, but because something inside me finally understood that it already was. You didn't fight for me. You didn't try to fix anything. You didn't even seem to notice that I was slipping away. Or maybe you did, and you just didn't care. Do you know what hurts the most? It's not that you left, it's how easily you left. Like I was never something you had to hold on to. Like forever was just a word you used to make the moment feel bigger than it was. Like I was just temporary and you were always planning to go. I keep replaying everything in my head. Every I love you. Every I need you. Every I can't imagine my life without you. Were they real? Did you mean them? Or was I just hearing what I wanted to hear? From someone who knew exactly what to say. I don't know which truth hurts more. That you lied, or that you meant it at the time, and still chose to leave anyway. Because if you meant it, then how do you just stop loving someone like that? How do you go from forever to nothing in seconds? I wish I could say I moved on quickly, that I understood everything and accepted it gracefully, but I didn't. I stayed. Even after you left, I stayed in the memories. I stayed in the conversations. I stayed in the version of you that loved me because that version felt more real than the one who walked away. I kept checking my phone, waiting for a message that never came. Something simple, something small. Hey, I miss you. I made a mistake. But silence became your final answer. And I had to learn to read it. You know what silence does? It teaches you things words never could. It teaches you that closure isn't always given, that sometimes you have to create your own ending from someone else's absence. It teaches you that love, no matter how deep, isn't always enough to make someone stay. I started to question everything. Was I too much? Too emotional? Too available? Too loving? Or maybe I just loved the wrong person in the right way. Because I gave you everything I had, not pieces, not fragments, everything. And I don't regret that. I regret giving it to someone who didn't know what to do with it. You promised forever, but forever to you was just a moment stretched into a sentence, something beautiful to say, but not something you ever planned to keep. And me? I built a home inside that promise. I decorated it with memories. I filled it with hope. I lived there completely until one day I realized I was the only one still inside it. It's strange, isn't it? How someone can be your entire world one day and a stranger the next. How someone can know every detail about you and still choose to forget you completely. I don't hate you. I've tried. But hate requires energy, and you already took too much of that from me. What I feel instead is something quieter, something heavier, a kind of sadness that doesn't scream, but never really leaves. I miss you, not the version of you that left, but the version that stayed, the one who laughed with me, the one who held my hand, the one who said forever like it actually meant something. I miss that person, even if they never truly existed. And maybe that's the hardest part, loving someone who was real in your heart, but temporary in reality. I've started to heal slowly, not in big dramatic steps, but in small quiet moments, like when I stop checking my phone, when I go a whole day without thinking about you, when your name doesn't hurt as much as it used to. Healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means learning to live with what you remember. And I will always remember you, not because I want to, but because you were a chapter that changed me. You taught me that love is beautiful, but also fragile, that promises can feel like forever and still end in seconds, that not everyone who says they'll stay actually will, and maybe that's okay, because one day someone will say forever to me again. But this time, I won't just listen to their words. I'll watch their actions. I'll see if they stay. When things get hard, if they fight, when things start to break, if they choose me, not just in moments of love, but in moments of doubt. Until then, I'll keep rebuilding myself, piece by piece, heart by heart, learning that I am enough, even without someone who couldn't see my worth. You promised forever, but left me in seconds, and somehow I'm still here, still breathing, still healing, still learning how to love without losing myself again. And maybe that's my forever now. You didn't just leave me, you left pieces of yourself everywhere. In my thoughts, in my habits, in the silence between my breaths. It's strange how someone can go and still feel like they never really did. I still wake up some mornings with your name sitting quietly on my lips. Not loud, not desperate, just there, like a memory that refuses to fade, no matter how much time passes. I used to think healing meant forgetting, erasing every trace of you, deleting every message, throwing away every memory. But I was wrong. Healing isn't about removing you, it's about learning how to exist with the space you left behind. And that space, it's not small. It's not something I can just step over and pretend isn't there. It's a whole part of me that had to learn how to be empty. Do you know what emptiness feels like? It's not loud. It doesn't scream or cry all the time. Sometimes it's just quiet, a kind of silence that makes everything else feel distant, like you're living your life, but not fully inside it. I go through my days smiling when I have to, laughing when it's expected, talking like everything is normal, but inside there's always a small part of me that remembers you, not loudly, but constantly. I try to replace you, not with another person, but with distractions, long nights, endless scrolling, conversations that didn't mean anything. I filled my time so I wouldn't have to feel the absence you left behind. But absence doesn't disappear. Just because you ignore it, it waits patiently until you're alone again, until the noise fades, until there's nothing left but you and your thoughts, and that's when it comes back, not as pain anymore, but as a quiet ache, a reminder of what was and what will never be again. I don't cry like I used to. In the beginning, it felt like my tears would never stop, like my heart was breaking over and over again with every memory of you. But now, the tears are rare, not because I don't feel anything, but because I felt everything already. There's a difference between fresh pain and old pain. Fresh pain burns, it consumes you. Old pain, it settles, it becomes a part of you, something you carry quietly without anyone noticing. And I carry you like that now, not as a wound, but as a scar, something that reminds me of what I went through and how I survived it. because I did survive it, even when I thought I wouldn't, even when the nights felt too long, and the silence felt too heavy, and the memories felt too real. I stayed. I kept going. I kept breathing, even when it hurt. And that matters more than you'll ever know. I don't blame you anymore. I used to. I used to replay everything and search for the moment where it all went wrong. I wanted answers, reasons, closure, but sometimes there are no clear answers. Some people come into your life just to teach you something, not to stay forever. Maybe you were never meant to stay. Maybe your role in my story was always temporary, not because I wasn't enough, but because you weren't meant to be my forever. And that's a hard truth to accept because when you love someone, you don't see them as temporary. You see them as everything.